Hi, welcome to Tantalus Oracle Energetically Leo. So, tonight we're going to be talking about who are you? Okay, so thank you for coming to the podcast tonight, checking in with us, with me. Okay, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video and share it as well. Now, like I said, we're going to be talking about who are you? Now, if you watch the first podcast, and don't forget to go check out the past podcast, but if you watch the very first podcast, I talked about shadow work, and it was based on inner child issues, childhood trauma. But basically, we were talking about shadow work and the benefits of doing shadow work and the purposes of it and what it is. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. So today I'm talking about who you are, and it's going to be related to that. So shadow work and who you are goes hand in hand. So this is mainly focused on those who are trying to improve themselves. They are doing the work or want to start improving themselves and put in that work. Those of you who are going on a spiritual journey, but this is not just for people who are going on spiritual journeys. This can be for anybody in your day-to-day life because shadow work affects your entire life. Okay, so when we look at who we are, how do you answer that question? If I ask you, who are you? How would you answer that question? If you ask yourself who you are, how would you answer it then? So understanding who you are is important when you go throughout your life. So shadow work, and I'm going to explain it like this. Shadow work tells you who you are, why you are the way that you are, and what caused you to be the way that you are. Now, shadow work just means that you are looking at the things that you may find like you don't want people to know that. You may find shame in it. But shadow work doesn't mean when you're looking into yourself, you're looking at all the negative things, because when you can have things that happen to you that cause you to be a better person, but it's part of your shadow. It was caused by something maybe traumatic or something that happened to you, and it caused you to have this positive trait, or you can have a negative trait. Okay, it just depends on how it manifests in you. So when we talk about shadow work, we're going to look at it as our operation manual, how we operate and why we operate the way that we operate. Just like if you buy a microwave, you buy a computer, you buy a phone, whatever you buy that has a function, okay, it comes with an operation manual so you can know how this thing operates. So it tells you how to use it, what it's used for, and what it's not to be used for. So when you have an issue with your phone, you have an issue with your microwave, in that operation manual, it has a troubleshooting guide. If this doesn't work, try this. If this is doing this, try that for you. If you are feeling like this, do this. If you are feeling like that, do this. Once you have done all that you can do to fix the issue within yourself with this phone, and you can't figure it out, you need more assistance, then you call customer service. Customer service will then guide you further than you could on your own. And just like that with yourself, you call customer service. Who is customer service? An advisor, a therapist, a friend, whoever. Somebody that knows something about what you're talking about. And so if you view yourself, your shadow work, as your operational manual, how you operate, why you may be having an issue with certain things coming up. So once you do your shadow work, you know how to troubleshoot yourself, because you know, when I get like this, it's because I have been triggered in this way, or this thing has happened and it causes me to act like that. So what I need to do when I start feeling this way and I start having to deal with this, I know I need to do this. That's what it means. Understanding who you are and how you operate. If we don't look into how we operate and who we are, we cannot move or improve ourselves. Because in order to improve on yourself, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to know who you are. If you can't be honest with yourself about who you are, there's no possible way that you can honestly be yourself to anybody else. You will always be hiding who you truly are from other people because you are afraid of who you are. You are afraid to admit who you are to yourself. So you will go through life hiding your true essence, hiding the good and the bad, because you don't know how to differentiate between the two sides. You may look at something that's negative because it's coming from something else, and actually it could be a positive trait, something positive, something that can help you. Because knowing your shadow self, you actually need both sides of yourself. You need to have both sides in balance. But if you're not honest with yourself and you don't dig into yourself to understand how you operate, how can you manage relationships in your home, in your job, in your personal life, whatever? How can you manage those relationships when you don't even know how to manage the relationship you have with yourself? You're being dishonest with yourself. You're doing disservice to yourself. You're treating yourself bad. You're treating yourself wrong. You're putting yourself in situations that doesn't serve you best. Because you are not being honest with yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. So, like I said, shadow work is your operation manual. And a lot of times people don't want to do the shadow work because they're afraid to face the reality of who they are. You want to live in a fantasy that you have created for yourself of who you really are. And that is not you. That's who you wish to be. And a lot of us living in a wish I was mindset. This is the person I'm telling you I am, but you're showing me you a different person. And so people get so caught up in the fantasy that they even believe that themselves. They actually believe that they are that person. And they are the total opposite. I did not say that this person is making the fantasy that they are a great person. I said people are creating a fantasy of who they are in their mind. It could be they think they're a good person. They could think they're a bad person. And it could be the total opposite. But let's go back to your phone. Your phone is designed to do certain things. It has certain features. If you don't use those features in the right way, they won't work in the right way. So if I'm using a feature of my phone all wrong, then I'm like, okay, this thing is not working how you said. You said it's supposed to do this. It's supposed to do that, but you're using it wrong. Or you don't know how to use it. So if you don't know how to use what you come with, the essence of yourself, if you don't know how to bring out the best in you and suppress the worst of you, then you won't operate as planned. You won't operate in your highest form because you're using what you have in the wrong way. So that brings me to the next point. So in order for you to dig into yourself, Like I said, you have to be honest with yourself. And to be honest, you have to have some type of integrity. So, what is integrity? Integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles and moral uprightness. But the key here is honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. Another thing is discipline. And a lot of people lack discipline. But what is discipline? Discipline is the practice of training oneself to follow a particular code of conduct or set of rules. So, we cannot have discipline without integrity, and we can't have integrity without discipline. Because in order to have discipline, you have to be honest about what you do and how you operate. Because in order to have discipline, you have to have a set of rules for yourself and a way that you act. And the way that you act goes back to your integrity because you have to have some type of principle and uprightness, moral principles and uprightness in order to create a discipline for yourself. So if you lack discipline, you're going to lack integrity. If you lack integrity, you're going to lack discipline. Because discipline takes being honest with yourself, standing firm on something, standing on something. And the main number one, besides discipline, is accountability. Accountability is the fact or condition of being accountable. What does accountable mean? What does being accountable mean? That means you have a required or you are required or expected to justify actions or decisions. So, if you have to justify something, the way you act or your decisions, what are they based on? What are you being accountable for? To yourself. So your integrity, your discipline, and your accountability all works in conjunction together because you can't have one without. You can't say I'm accountable for myself and my actions, but you're not honest with this integrity. With the integrity, you're not being honest to yourself and to others because you're not standing on a moral ground because you're lacking the accountability of your actions and your decisions. So you can't have integrity if you don't hold yourself accountable. You can't be disciplined if you allow yourself to lack accountability and not have integrity. You can't have integrity without discipline because it takes discipline to create the integrity. This is a process. You have to create this person. You have to mold yourself into this type of person. In order to understand and know that, you have to maintain integrity and discipline. So, like I say, they all three work hand in hand, and you cannot have one without the other. And a lot of us lack accountability. That's the number one thing. Discipline is the second, and integrity is the last. And actually, discipline and accountability can be both number one. So, as I stated, when you're doing your shadow work, when you're trying to improve yourself, when you're trying to build your quality, your character, who you are, it takes all of this working hand in hand, digging into yourself, finding out why you operate the way you operate. If you find that when the way you're moving and the things that you're doing is not you operating with integrity, accountability, and discipline, then you have to change the way you move. So your shadow work will allow you to take accountability, have integrity, and be disciplined. In order to get to your shadow work, you have to be disciplined, you have to take accountability, and that's going to build your integrity. So they all working hand in hand. But like I said, we are in a period of time when nobody wants to be accountable for their actions. It's always, well, they did this. They didn't let me do this. They caused me to do this. Because they did this, I do that. But the thing about I always ask people was this: how are we so easily forced or coerced into doing the wrong thing, but we can never be forced or coerced into doing the right thing? It's always the wrong thing. Because it's easy to do wrong than it is to do right when everybody else is doing wrong. We don't want to seem like we're not fitting in because we are a group of people who always want to belong. Nobody wants to stand out. Nobody wants to be seen separate from the group. We want to be accepted, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if that acceptance and then that fitting in causes you to lack accountability, integrity, and discipline, then that's not something that you need to be involved in because that's not elevating you. It takes more courage to stand out than it does to blend in. So, are you willing to stand out, work on yourself, work on your operational manual, troubleshoot yourself, write your own operational manual? Who am I? What do I want to stand for? How do I want people to see me? And be honest with that. Because your word is your bond. If you are accountable, you have integrity, and you have discipline, when you say something, people know that they can stand on it. You stand on it. You stand on your word. You are a person that can be relied and trusted on because you have accountability, integrity, and discipline. So I don't have to question you because I know, based on who you present yourself to be, that you are accountable when you're wrong and you're accountable when you're right. You have integrity and you have discipline. That's how we create the person that we are. How we want to be seen and how we want to be known and how we want to carry ourselves. We can't put ourselves out front and say we want to be in the lead. We want to be up front. We want to be the lead head person in charge, and we lack accountability, discipline, and integrity. Being up front and being a leader takes more than a title and a willingness to be in the front. You have to have integrity, discipline, and accountability. And that's in any aspect of our life, not just, oh, I'm trying to elevate myself spiritually. You will never elevate yourself spiritually if you can't elevate yourself mentally, because elevating yourself spiritually has to come from your mentality. If your mentality is one that lacks discipline, integrity, and accountability, you will never elevate yourself in no other type of way. We're always looking for the easy way out. We're looking for the cheat code because we don't want to put that work in. That's the discipline that we need. We don't want to be accountable for when we fall or when we don't do something or when we do wrong. And understand, we are humans. We will always fall short at some times, but having the integrity and discipline and accountability will take you further than the rest of those who don't want to take accountability. Because if you don't force yourself to be accountable to yourself, you will never be accountable to others. So once again, all of this works hand in hand. And it begins with you writing out, figuring out your operational manual, which is yourself. And that comes from doing your shadow work. That allows you to see who you are. Because if you can't see you, you can't see me. And if you can't see you, you can't see the person that you want to be in a relationship, your child, your mother, your father. You can't see anybody if you cannot even see who you are. How can you understand me when you don't understand you? So all of this goes back to, once again, figuring out who you are, who you want to be. This is the type of person I want people to see me. This is how I want to see myself. This is how I want to be. This is the thing that I want to stand on. When people come to me, they know I'm this and I'm that, and it ain't no question. And for instance, for my kids, ever since they were small, and I tell them, if I say something, that I'm going to do something, they don't have to question me. They don't ask me. If I say, this is what I'm going to do, they never ask me again, because they already know that once I said it, that's what I'm going to do. I don't care if something comes up, I'm still going to do what I said I'm going to do. And if by some act of God, I can't do it, then I come back, hey, I can't do it then, but I can do it now. Or I can't do it now, but I can do it then. So when I tell my children something, and I tell them the same thing, your word has to mean something. Don't tell somebody something and you don't follow up. You don't do what you say you're going to do, because that makes that person know that you don't stand on anything. You can't be trusted and you are not reliable. You're not accountable. In the same way, you know that when I say something, I'm going to do it. I need that same thing from you. And I tell them this, and they can tell you, if I say I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something, that's what it is. There's no question. Never say what you can't do. If you know you're not going to do it, don't say it. If I say I'm going to be here at 2, I'm going to be there at 1:50. Because I'm letting you know that I am accountable. I am reliable. I do what I say I'm going to do. So people know that. So my point is, you have to put yourself in a position so people can know who you are. They can see it in your actions, in how you move and how you operate, in the things that you say and the things that you do. And that all goes back to accountability, integrity, and discipline. Who are you? When somebody says, do you know this person? Yes. Who are they? What do you want them to say about you? How do you want people to view you? And that goes all back to you knowing who you are. You can't say, I want them to view me as this type of person and then doing this and doing that, and you the total opposite. You don't even know what that is. It just sounds good when you say it. This sounds like a good person to me. This is who I'm going to tell people I am. But your every move, action, and behavior goes and contradicts against everything you just said. So who are you? What do you stand for? What and how do you hold yourself accountable? Do you only hold yourself accountable for the good things? And when something bad happens, or you keep silent? I was at work. Something happened. Who did this? Now, if I wouldn't say anything, nobody would know. And I was like, oh, I did that. Like, why would you? If I wouldn't have said that if I was you. Why not? I did it. I'm gonna let somebody else take the blame. I did it. It's not like it was intentional, but yes, I did that. And now I can correct it. So, are we that type of person where, oh, I don't want nobody to know I did wrong? We're humans, we make mistakes all the time. But it's taking accountability for those mistakes is what matters. So I want us all to think about who we are as a person. If you don't know who you are, that's fine. Do your shadow work and figure it out. Look inside you. Like I said, create your own operational manual. Understand, write it down, record it, whatever. Figure out who you are so you can know how to troubleshoot yourself. And if you don't know how to get it done, find somebody who can help you. So write this down. Who am I? And fill it out. Who I want to be, fill it out. And see how they match up. If you haven't done your shadow work, you can start on it. If you're thinking about doing your shadow work, you can start on it. If you've done your shadow work, keep doing it until you figure out who you are. But in order to figure out who you are, you have to really be honest with yourself. Hold yourself accountable. You can't hold yourself accountable for somebody else. Hold yourself accountable for the things that you can change and the things that you have done. Figure out who you want to be. Then see who you are. And then make a match. So, as I stated, accountability, integrity, and discipline. And I'm going to repeat what they mean. Accountability, the fact or condition of being accountable. And being accountable means that you are required or expected to justify your actions and decisions. Integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles and moral uprightness. And finally, discipline, the practice of training oneself to follow a particular code of conduct or set of rules. And this goes for any aspect of your life. I'm not talking about spirituality in particular. I'm talking about us as a human being. We see what's going on around us. Why are these people acting like this? Why are these people doing this? And then we look at ourselves and we don't even hold ourselves accountable for the things that we do and the way that we live, in the ways that we act, in the ways that we think. But then we want to hold somebody else at a higher standard than what we even hold ourselves. So when you work on you, you can influence the people surrounding you. You can't influence, well, you can't influence somebody to change themselves if you don't even know how to work on yourself. So if I want to influence a better surrounding people that surrounding me, then I need to be the example that I want to see surrounding me. That can trigger other people. You know what? I see how this person has changed and I see how this person is living their life and they're living their life in this type of way. They are accountable. They have some integrity and discipline. I want to do that for myself. Or do you want to influence people to just not be accountable, have no integrity, not discipline? So that's all I wanted to say. So, like I said, do your shadow work. Create your own operational manual and your troubleshooting guide. Have a customer service team that you can call on, that you know where to go for guidance when you don't know how to fix an issue or when you need further assistance. Have discipline, integrity, and be accountable for yourself and your actions. So figure out who you are and then figure out who you want to be and see if they match. So thank you for listening and watching. Don't forget to join me again on another podcast where we can discuss some other things. And you can leave all your comments in the comment section. Thank you.